What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy Judgmental Podcast. I'm Leroy, and on this week's episode, this was recorded during our Spotify musical episode 17, Leroy Hates DMX. Jay and I just talked freely afterwards about music, politics, and some other stuff, so here we go. And thanks for listening to us.
So you just didn't like his you didn't think he was just a good rapper is what you're saying.
Right, because when I talk about rap, like how you just said, I'm talking about two turntables and a microphone. We're not talking about songs or whatever. It's funny because Nelly was on The Shop. I don't know if The Shop is still on HBO or not, but they showed a clip. I don't even know if I guess LeBron James, I guess he's involved, but I don't know if LeBron James was there. And Nelly was talking about how it was in his wheelhouse. What was his wheelhouse? And what, like 98 to let me see.
Let's say like 99 to 05.
Okay, he said that it was hard competition because you had Jay-Z, you had Eminem, you had Ludacris, and I think he mentioned Ja Rule, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned that, oh man, Nelly was ass. I'm like, wait a minute now. He just said he talked about sales. That man, you know how many records that he sold? How many singles that he had? He didn't say anything about lyrics. He said selling. He said it was hard to compete selling wise.
Yep.
And I said, well, what he said, he was absolutely right. Now, why do people shit on him like that?
Because, I mean, see, you know how, like, I was talking to this about my wife yesterday, how, like, it's a generational thing in some ways, because it's like, oh man, these rappers now suck, right? And then we kind of glorify stuff from the past, but then when you look at Nelly from that time period, he's just seen as a pop rapper,
right?
So, like, you know, we kind of, I'm not gonna say we, but a lot of people downgrade him just based off of that, just because he had those hits, you know.
So Country Grammar came out in 2000. Sweat and Suit was a double CD. So will we say 2000 to 04? Brass Knuckles came out in 08. I don't know what's
definitely before that. I remember Country Grammar, the single, came out in 99. That's why I said 99.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I mean, it's still pretty much around the same era. Yeah, my friend sent me that too. He sent me that, and I was like, yeah, I could see what he's saying. That's the age of giving these rappers like these $1 million budgets, right. And them labels wanted to cash in. They wanted to recoup from what they were giving these artists. There's going to be more competition between them because they got all this money behind them.
Right. He was like, man, oh, Nelly suck. Like, no, he said about music. He didn't say anything about my lyrics or anything like that. He said about selling music, and it was right. It was definitely competition in that era. Look at that era, and then like what we doing now. DMX was in that era too, selling a whole bunch of records. So shit, it was much competition around that time. I think he mention Lil Wayne too. I don't think Lil Wayne is like from that era.
No,
that's like Cash Money era.
Yeah, Lil Wayne really didn't pop by himself until like a little bit after that era.
Right. It has to be like the 08 and up.
I'd say like about when he was doing the mixtapes. Let's see, the Squad Up, that came out in like 02, 03, but I don't think he really got that sort of recognition to be that dude until like 05, 06.
Right.
So it still is. It's like at the tail end of that era, or just in the. I think you know what, I say he just ushered in a new era. I wouldn't even see that in that era.
Right. No, he doesn't fit into that era unless you counting Cash Money stuff, and I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. That was too short lived.
Right. When we're saying Cash Money stuff, we're talking about the Hot Boy stuff.
Yeah. Juvenile, BG,
right.
Them.
Right. So yeah, I'm like, well, what did he didn't say anything wrong.
Nah, and then second of all, come on, you liked a couple of his songs. Like you can't you can't front as much of an underground head as I was. Like I liked some of his stuff. Like you can't hate, man. You can't.
Right. I liked Country Grammar.
Yeah.
I like Country Grammar. It's Hot in Here. I can't think anything else.
I like Ride With Me.
Robert Me was cool, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Hot in Here until they overplayed it. That's my issue with most like top hot singles is that they overplayed the like I can't stand California Love now. And I know people on the West Coast are going to like crucify me over this. It's let me get this straight though. It's not the song itself. It's
Right.
the fact that it's been played over and over and over and over again to where it's like I don't want to hear it anymore.
Hmm. What was that? Do we live on a farm? Was that a Saint Lunatic song, or I think that may have been a Saint Lunatic song? Nelly got some hit songs now,
Yeah.
and like you said, if you they'll play it in the club, you'll be bopping your head to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Spotify is ending the music talk. To music plus talk podcast. So I think June will be the last time you can upload podcasts with music, licensed music to it. I think it's BS. I think they plan on doing something else, but they'll just name it differently. I don't think that they're going to just stop allowing people to use music in their podcasts.
Uh I think it's just yeah. It's too much money being made from this stuff. It's way too
Right.
much money for them to discontinue it. I agree too. I think they're just gonna it's gonna be something else or some way around it, or they'll just throw it out something.
Right. They said that it wasn't money being made. People weren't using it.
That's what they always. Let me look at TikTok. I mean, this it's always about money. When is it
Yes.
not like for real? It doesn't make any sense.
Yes. So what you think about the TikTok thing? The government trying to get the company to sell. So
Hell, I mean, it's super. Like I said, it's about money.
right.
It's about money and the whole spy. We don't want China to spy on you. I'm like, man. So yes, but you guys spy on us, and
Exactly.
sure you spy on China and everybody else. So like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just about money. That's it.
And is China still number one in consumer goods?
Yeah, they should be. I mean, why not?
Okay, hey, look, if they wanted to spy and all that stuff, they can spy with also with the goods and the electronics we get. They can put something inside the electronic or something.
And
The Go
oh,
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Temu
Uh
as
huh.
its own company. You know what? Because me and my wife are watching the Super Bowl, and as much as patriotic as America, you know, see, I try not to be social political on this shit, but like, I guess I got it. Super Bowl, we try to be patriotic. They start with the national anthem there and the black national anthem too, whatever they're trying to do with.
I didn't see none of that stuff, and
I
I
didn't
said
see it neither.
it's funny because I heard people talking about it, and I said, "Excuse me to cut you off," but I said that I they did the lift every voice and sing. I'm sitting right here looking at it. I didn't see that part, and then they were talking about commercials. I'm like, Kanye West had a Super Bowl commercial. I'm like, I did not know that Kanye West had a Super Bowl commercial. I sat right here and watched the Super Bowl from the beginning to the end. I'm thinking like one time when I went upstairs to the bathroom or something, the Kanye West commercial played.
Maybe so. Uh, but yeah, there was a Temu commercial, and my
Yeah.
wife was like, she was like kind of shocked a little bit. She was like, as patriotic as this country claims it is, you're gonna put a Temu commercial right in the middle as much as we hate China, supposedly.
Yep.
Like
And
it's
they plugged the hell. I've never heard of the Temu until recently, so they been plugging the hell out of that website.
exactly. So the TikTok thing is just a load of BS. That's
Yes.
that's how I see it.
And
It's,
I look
it's too much money's made off of it anyway.
right, and I look at it that they want them to sell it
Hmm.
because they have your kids, which means now when it comes to young people is the first they'll spend their money on goods. See,
Hmm.
we wouldn't spend our money like that on a shirt or a sneaker or something like that, but the
Hmm.
young people they would.
Hmm.
So that's the reason why too. Like you said, it all boils down to the dollar. The
Hmm.
TikTok got your kids. So kids like to spend money. They'll buy shit. They'll spend money in playing what's the video game? Is it Roblox?
Yeah, yeah, it's a popular
They'll
one.
yeah,
It's
they'll spend money buying shit extra item on that. Me, I play the game, but I ain't buying shit extra.
Mhm. Exactly. And then it's like so many people on TikTok who have, or they're promoting brands too. So,
Yes.
like it, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't make it to the House, but I mean, we'll see what the Senate is going to do, but I don't think it's going to pass completely.
Right. Like you said, I can't believe that they did a vote and the government was involved in that.
I mean, I can to a degree because again, the U.S. Here we go, cousin Jay again. But the USA only cares about its own interest and what they can get out of any situation possible. So if they can
Right.
get the most out of the situation, it's going to go to Congress,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and then they'll see what they can do with that afterwards. But we'll see.
So, what you think about this Diddy stuff? The reason why I asked because my Aisha had asked me, and I said, "Why are you so never be surprised what somebody will do?" And I said, "Well, look at all of the top. I can't say all. Look at some of these top guys, the Weinsteins, the Epstein. They're all like deviants." So what
Mhm.
makes you think that another black dude is is not just because he's black he ain't a deviant too?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not
Right.
about color. I mean, because like, look, the whole entertainment industry is about exploitation anyway.
Yes.
You're even if you're honestly if you're an honest businessman, you're still exploiting someone's talent for your profit.
Right.
That's just the game. That's just how it is. You don't
Right.
have to be evil or anything. That's just the business. But on a human level, when you gain that much money and more power from it, and then rumors have always been circulating on how dirty people are in those situations. I mean, we people always snap on Diddy's record label, his past history on his record label, how
Right.
he did artists. I mean, me personally, I don't care as much, but I'm in the camp that yeah, he probably did everything that people are saying.
I agree. Right. Right. And like you said, people been talking shit about Diddy for 20 damn years.
Hmm.
Mark Curry wrote a book. You
Hmm.
got Gene Deal is on every damn podcast. I'm sorry, not podcast. Every damn YouTube talking shit about Sean Combs. Why is it such a shock now? I'm confused. And I also think that you notice when stuff start happening like that to people, they're like in a downturn. They're not as hot anymore.
Yeah,
So okay, but let's just get him now. Because R. Kelly didn't fall off. He just wasn't as hot as he was.
exactly.
Now they brought up all this stuff up, but we've been knowing about R. Kelly since the 90s.
Hmm.
The shit he was into. I'm like, I don't understand why people are so damn shocked.
Well, I mean, it goes back to what I mentioned in the earlier podcast. Like, there's a difference between black famous and white famous. So when you're black famous, you're not gonna people aren't gonna dig up as much dirt on you. You're not in those spaces just yet. You just have like a certain room where you're at the top at. But then
Right.
when you become white famous, everybody's looking at you. And
True.
then you're at the peak. And then when you're starting to fall off, like you said, or you're just not as hot as you were before, then it's easy to be like, oh, nope, you did this, you did this, you did this. Because it's hard to get them when they're already up there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's what I think the problem is. It's just he's on that down. Like again, he didn't fall off, but he just not as hot as he was anymore. And like you said, he's white famous now, so you under the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing like Jonathan Major. Like he was like the go-to black guy in every other movie that came out. He was in it.
Very short
And
lived. Though.
what'd you say?
I said very short lived though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's his own fault. That's his own downfall. Because my thing is, what I can't figure out is why do you have a damn steady girlfriend? How do you have time for a woman when you in, like I said, he's like the go-to black guy. Every other movie he's in, so you're not home like damn near half of the year, but you got time for a girlfriend.
I
I'm
guess
like, why would you even bother?
I can't answer that question. I can't tell you. I don't know, but yeah, it's when you get to a certain point, that's when people can really pick you apart. And when you're on the downswing of it, then boom, that's when you get got because you can't keep that stuff up forever. You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
So I mean, what he did is no shock. There's no shock to me at all. If you
same.
yeah, if you were aware of him, because again, one thing too is like when you become internationally famous or white famous, uh, they don't know much about you before you became white famous. I've noticed that.
Right.
You're just right there, and people just see you from that peak point, not where you were at before. But if you were following him before, something was up.
Yes. Yes, we all did. They all talk. Hell, Wendy Williams back in the day was talking shit about Diddy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
So now all of a sudden it's a big deal. No, it ain't a big deal to me. I ain't surprised.
Yeah. Um. Uh.
Anything you listening to new music was?
uh Dang. What have I been listening to? Nothing. Just mainly a bunch of old stuff. I don't think. I think first quarter is always kind of slow.
Yes.
I think the last record I listened to in total just to check it out was uh the God Fahim. Uh,
Hmm.
that dude damn near releases a project every week. So um go ahead.
So did you listen to the Master Ace Marco Polo album?
I mean it's one of those records that I should go back and listen to, but honestly, I haven't listened to Master Ace since not that the second album he made that had those skits.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I haven't listened to a record since because it's like he's good at what he does, but it's like I don't know. I just don't have the energy to listen to. You can't listen to a song from him. It seems like you got to listen to a full project,
Right.
and it's like I don't feel like listening to those skits and all that stuff in the project anymore. I guess I don't have the patience.
Well, it's not skits in it because it's based off of Marco Polo's life.
Hmm.
And my thing is, okay, it's supposed to be like a story based on Marco Polo's life, but the damn songs don't don't add up to don't add up to it. Marco Polo was like Marco Polo's a producer, ladies and gentlemen, and he's talking about growing up in Canada and he had a drug problem and how his parents helped him out whatever with the drugs, but that doesn't match with what Master Ace is rapping about. That's my only problem with it. The songs aren't bad.
Hmm.
It just that it's not matching up with the album.
Hmm.
But it's well, it's not skits in it, but they're just talking like his father, Marco Polo's father, and Marco Polo was like telling the story and all that stuff in between the songs. And it seems like all his albums are like that too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like Master Ace as an artist, but I just don't have the patience to listen to a full, because it's like there's no replay value after you like listen to it maybe once, maybe twice. If it
Yes.
tells that whole entire story, you know.
Yeah.
So
Um,
that's just me.
what about books? Oh, no, no. Let's go back to the did you look at listen to did you watch the Black Sheep dress documentary?
Damn, yeah, I forgot to check that one out. You sent me
Hmm.
that a long time ago. It's sitting on my computer. I keep forgetting to look at it.
What about you look at the Cold Chillin' on the song stuff, right?
Yeah.
They blew by that, they blew by all the story. Quick pass in the hurry, didn't they?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's so much that they could tell. I mean, they do it would they needed like a docu series
Yes.
on Cold Chilling Records.
Yes. 40 minutes is not enough for
Yeah,
them. 40
it's
minutes is enough.
it was a lot going on with that record, man. There's so many. It was important for like the late '80s, early '90s era, the golden era. That's what they. It's funny, like our generation calls the '90s the golden era, and it's like to me, it's like no, the golden era was the late '80s, early '90s, because that pretty
Agreed.
much set the precedent or the trend as to what to follow afterwards.
Yes, that's when people start really paying attention. Like, holy shit, you really can make money doing this.
Exactly.
This,
Yeah.
this is like the hammer, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
You have to include him in the golden era because he changed the face of rap music pretty much. I hate when people diss him, talk shit about him.
Yeah, because we like we mentioned before. I mean, it's so many artists now that follow the blueprint of
Right.
what he did.
Our boy Vanilla Ice.
Hmm.
You got
Yeah.
to mention them because listen, they sold records. They I don't know if I don't remember Vanilla Ice doing any commercials or advertising for products. Maybe he did. I never paid attention to it. He was
I
in
just remember
movies.
that Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, yeah. And they played the ninja rap in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but it was like for a split second. But he got paid on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't mention those guys. You can't say the golden era is in the 90s up, and you got to mention those guys. I mean, look, they sold a lot. Whatever you think about Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer, they sold a lot of records, and those rappers back then would love to be in their position.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, I think the only reason why people do that with the '90s is just nostalgia. Because honestly, man, I think if you didn't grow up in a certain neighborhood or if you weren't from a certain culture, you probably really didn't listen to rap until you went to middle school.
Yes.
And
Well,
I remember what Vince Staples said too, and yeah, for some reason I'm quoting a lot of Vince Staples,
yeah, that's your new boy because he got that TV show.
which isn't bad by the way. But he said something like an interviewer asked him when he fell in love with hip hop, and he was like, "Man, I'm black. Like, what the hell? There never was a time like how old is he? He about 30 now. He,
Yeah, it was always rap around when he was
yeah,
coming
he
up.
was
Yeah.
dude black. Like there was nothing but rap around there. There's no point where it's just like, oh no, yeah. So unless you didn't unless you grew up in a certain era or because I say people from my generation, yeah, they cater to music from like maybe 95 and up.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's their golden era. 95 to like the early 2000s is their golden era.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right about when people first started listening to rap, it was in middle school because the first time I started, well, my sister, we look at stuff off on the radio and everything like that. But when I first started hearing different rap artists from South,
Hmm.
South and the West Coast was from middle school. You're right. You're
Hmm.
right. Because the only thing she would listen to is stuff off the radio. And around that time in middle school, that's when people started getting cable television and Yo MTV Raps
Yeah,
and Rap City, of course.
right. I mean, but for my generation, it's like if you were listening to, for the most part, I'm not going to say, I don't want to make generalizations, but if you're from like my era and you were into hip hop, that's just because it was always around. And now you did have choices though, because I mean, I remember like, R&B and it was a lot of older black people out there too still making music. But you
Yes.
don't have that anymore. It was a tons of old black people still making music.
Yep.
Pop, you had all this other stuff, and rap was always in the background still. Not as strong as for younger generations, but it was in the background. But like I said, if you're from a different culture, because remember, radio was divided. We always talk about this. Radio was divided. Hip hop really didn't become like really mainstream pop until the mid '90s, if you think about it. We
Yep.
pop
And
occasion.
and that's the
I,
and that's the Puffy era.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, around the Puffy era. So I think that's when I think most people from, and I hate using the word culture, because we, but from people from the outside, like yeah, they didn't get into that until like MTV started playing way more rap, and Diddy was dancing in the videos, and Tupac got killed.
Yep. And rejoice because your boys big timers are back
Oh,
together
really?
and they're doing a concert with each other in New Orleans. I'm assuming it's this weekend. I'm not sure. So rejoice, your boys is back.
My boys.
Oh, come on, you like big timers?
Not really.
I did.
Not care for them. I like Manny Fresh's beats, but I did not like the big timers. I did not like them at all. The man said he was not the dude to be behind the mic to me.
Hmm.
You know. Uh, but I mean, I guess that's cool if you're a fan of that era. I mean, that era was cool for what it was.
Yeah, it was a time. It was a time to be around and outside.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the Nelly stuff come in too.
True. Yeah.
It was a time to be outside and
And it
around.
was, I mean, we mentioned DMX. It was like, you know what, the $1 million thing too. That's when rap started branching off, and it's like, these companies. This is like, I think this was like when companies were at their prime. Going back to what you said about what Nelly said, because shoot, 99, because we started with DMX, in the music podcast.
Right.
uh DMX started getting into acting. You saw more rappers getting into acting.
Yep.
Funny story to bring this back to DMX though. So remember he died, I think it was in the first quarter of what,
21,
2020.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is funny. Me and my wife, we went to go. She was into like taking golf lessons and stuff. So
Hmm.
we had to drive over to another town. We finished and we come back and we stop at this light. This was right after DMX died. I look out the window and I'm like, yo, DMX ain't dead. He's over there. And this bald dude, this dude looked like he looked like DMX walked off the set of Romeo Must Die or something. He had like these jeans that were like, baggy jeans from the '90s. He had
Right.
this trench coat, bald head, looked just like DMX eating pizza and stuff. And like I damn near wrecked the car laughing at that shit. But going back to what I was saying though, yeah, during that era though, yeah, it really was like a $1 billion industry at that point. Like it really, really was.
Yep. Yep. That's when it hit. That's when like you said, that early to mid 90s. That's when it, because that's like the bad boy era, the Mace and all that stuff around that time, and they stayed on the radio.
Yeah.
That turned the radio around to look. We gonna have to start playing rap more. I'm talking about urban radio now. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about pop radio. That's
Hmm.
when they look. We gotta start playing this stuff. Because
Exactly.
like you said, rap was something that we listened to at Fridays at 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the LL Cool J's, the Eric B and Rakims, the Big Daddy Kanes too. They'll slip underneath the cracks, and they'll be playing midday or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But to really, really, really listen to rap, it was at 12 o'clock,
Yeah. So let me.
11, 12 o'clock at night. Yeah.
So 88 between 92. Like, in your opinion, why do you think that's the golden era rather than the mid 90s, like most people say it is?
But because that first showed us that this is really profitable. Like you can really really be rich from just being an artist. Because like I say, look at Hammer
Mm-hmm.
and the touring. I'm pretty sure he made a boatload of money touring. Who was making big tours? See, back then it was just they were tour, but it was just a whole bunch of artists doing all tours. It'd be like Ice Cube, EPMD, who else was a Too Short. They
Mm-hmm.
all would be all in one tour together. But
Mm-hmm.
did Hammer when Hammer was touring like that? Did he have other? I'm pretty sure. Of course, he had underneath card, but it wasn't no big artist that was touring with him. He was doing shit on his own, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. And that showed that you can. It was really profitable. That's the sweet spot there. That you can really make. You really can be rich through rap because at that time, who was really getting rich like that? I mean, like really, really rich.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what it made me think too, when Nelly made that comment, that era too, that was a lot of trial and error because you mentioned cold chilling earlier.
Right.
There was a lot of trial and error during that period.
Yeah.
'Cause you had, okay, from an artist level, you had a wide variety of music coming out, right? It wasn't just happy rap. It wasn't just protest rap. It was politically conscious stuff. It wasn't just gangster rap. It was a mix of everything, and everybody was different from
Yes.
artist level. And then, like I said, everybody from the '90s pretty much copied that format. Because you can't tell me there are not. If you take away the '80s, there's no way you're gonna have artists from the '90s. To me, it doesn't make any sense because everybody from the '90s took something from the '80s.
Yes.
They all did. I don't care who was at top. They took something from them.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of it, though, the flip side, the business level, like so many defunct record labels who would like somebody would come out and then they'd immediately try to carbon copy that person.
Yeah.
Or you had so many people who would have singles out, but then their record labels were funny and they weren't able to release a full project, or they just got shafted by the record labels in general.
Yes.
So it's so because I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and I was watching old Rap City episodes like from like '92.
I seen him on YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, dang, I remember that, but whatever happened to it, you know what I mean? What like
Yep.
you watch any of those, half of the artists on there, like they disappeared after like one or two videos.
Yeah, and you remember the song like, oh shit, that song was good. And then I'm like, well, damn, what happened? Yep.
Exactly,
You right.
yeah.
You right. Yeah, I seen those. Oh, I wish I knew the name of the guy who put that stuff up. But it's like, oh, and then I like how he have the commercials in it too.
Yo, the BET commercials,
Yeah.
the
Mm.
gospel
Yes.
gospel records.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Damn, I wish I knew it's Dave that put that stuff up there. I'm like, damn, he actually got the commercials in there too.
hmm, yeah, it'll bring you all the way back. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I say. I say the '90s. People say rap. That if anybody says I like '90s rap music or the '90s was the best era, I don't trust your judgment in music.
But wonder if they're young and said that. Wonder if they're younger than you.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it. You're doing that just because if you're younger, it's even worse because it's just you're just following a trend because nostalgia is the trend now.
Yep.
And if you're my age or older, that just means that you just didn't listen to rap prior to Tupac and Biggie. So like your opinion don't really matter.
Hmm. And speaking of the cold chilling, and they need to have a docu series. Like I asked you before on the text, how can you mention cold chilling, MC Shan, Roxanne Shante, and not mention pop art?
No Cool C.
Right.
Well, none of them from Philly.
And you gotta mention you gotta mention KRS-One also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they just blew past a lot of stuff. It's good that they had a little documentary about it, but you can't know anything about cold chilling by just looking at that. They have to have a docu series somewhere.
Hmm.
But who gonna speak up for them?
I don't know. The Goodmans are gonna have to make their own their own. I don't know.
Or you get Questlove involved because he's like the new Nelson George now.
Yeah, pretty. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if he was doing something like that. Like if something like that was in the works, because he
Well,
would be the person to do that.
remember before the pandemic, he was supposed to do this hip hop series. It was going to be on, I want to say A&E. Do you remember that that he was supposed to do like some type of hip hop show?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess ever since the pandemic, I guess they didn't do it.
You had to go back to the Jimmy Fallon stuff, and that dude is doing like a million and one things.
Oh, speaking of that, I forget what episode I'm in on that Open Mike Eagle podcast with him. He mentioned, I forgot to tell you this. He mentioned the Avenue, the TV show. It was a Drexel TV show.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if you call that public access or not. And they will play rap videos.
Hmm.
But the thing was, they will play Monday will be the new show, so they will play Monday show all throughout the week. Then next Monday it'll be a new show. So it came on every day, but it was the same show every day, other than Monday was the new show.
Hmm.
And the dude was named AJ Sean. I never knew his name. He was like the first one that was hosting the show. Then see, I thought he was like, because he said that he was like a hip hop dude. I thought he was just like a dude going to college. This is before social media, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't really know about the person like that. I
Hmm.
just thought he was like a dude going to college, and he graduated because it was a Drexel show. Drexel University is a
Hmm.
college here,
Yeah.
and the girl took over. See, I remember the girl more than I remember him because the he was on when I started looking at it. He was on it for probably like a year, and then the girl had took over, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know he was a part of being involved in the Roots. I said, "Oh shit!" I just thought he was like a kid that was in college or something, and I said, "Oh shit!" He mentioned the Avenue. And
Hmm.
boy, it's a whole bunch of people that didn't know anything about that show. I just happened to find it because I was flipping channels and I had seen it on there. I'm like, holy shit, they playing rap videos here? And then I told you about the Wu Tang.
Yeah. The first time you seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first time I seen Protect Your Neck was on that show.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know he was involved in the Roots like that. It's good to hear stories how he break it down. And plus, Questlove is a guy that like to talk, so it was good to hear stories about how what he was saying about that, especially back then, because there was a lot of stuff I didn't really know about. Well, we weren't supposed to know because, like I say, it wasn't like back then. You had to like know somebody that knows
Yeah.
somebody,
Hmm.
and so that's the reason why, like I said about the AJ Sean, I just thought he was like a kid in college. I didn't know he was in the hip hop world circle like that, and
Hmm.
help the Roots get signed and all that shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, that's a good podcast if you want to listen to it. Not you, Jay. I know you looked at it. Everyone else, the Questlove on the Open Mike Eagle. What had happened was podcast.
Yeah. Philly always gets overlooked though.
Hmm.
Philly, yeah, just because it's the New Jersey Philly thing, just because New York is right there. But Philly did play like so much of a crucial part though.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, because I'm like, well, damn, you just blew past this cold chilling spot, and you ain't even mentioned pop art. Now you know the video they played with Roxy and Shantae that was shot here.
Oh well, like I said though, they need to do a docu-series on it because it's as so many artists, producers, like just all sorts of people came out of that record label.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can you talk about the Jizza on there?
you should. I mean, what? Look, he he dissed them on labels.
Yeah.
He was the first Wu Tang member to have a record label. I mean, to get on a record label and have a full proper album release on a label before Wu Tang.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah,
you just made me think about the Wu Tang show. How you didn't think that RZA was going to get into "We Love You, Rakim" because you'd say you think that he was embarrassed.
yeah,
I didn't think it was nothing to be embarrassed about.
I think I like. I'm not gonna say because of the song in general,
Hmm.
because I know, like, we all know the record label. This is exactly what I was saying about like how record labels were back then. You got one person who makes a hit, then they all want to follow and do the same thing so they can cash in on it. That's what they were trying to do with him.
Right.
And that's what I thought he'd be like. He might shy away from it, not because of the song itself, but just because he was pushed to do it and present that image, which he definitely like wasn't.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And Phil was like, "Was that real?" So I showed him the video. He's like, "Oh, I remember that." The same thing you were saying about the Rap City shit.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Hell,
You.
I remember that song because I used to play it all the time.
Mm-hmm. They had no idea that was him though.
No.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yes, yeah, it goes back to what I said though. I mean, if you if you call yourself a Wu Tang fan but didn't know that about RZA, then that means you just listen to hip hop and like you just started in like 95 or 96. So
Yeah, a lot of people not gonna know that.
yeah, so I'm not gonna your opinion on that genre, I ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, no, they not going to know that he was on Cold Chillin' and had a video out and all that stuff. But like
Mm,
you said, they tried to make it him to be that dancing because at that time when he came out, it was that clubbing, dancing shit going
yeah,
on.
Loverboy.
So
They tried to make Jizza like Big Daddy Kane or something
right,
when he first came out, and that just that didn't work.
right,
Doomy, that first record. You know what? I'm actually surprised they didn't put Doomy on that show. They
true.
did they? I don't think they did.
No, no, they just talked about that he had a album. They never talked about the songs and none of that stuff. The only
Yeah.
one they did was RZA.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was Doomy. That was a yeah, that was a dance record.
Yep.
That was a New Jack Swing, pretty much. Yeah, it was a New Jack Swing beat, pretty much.
Yes, right in that air. Like you
Yeah.
said, they got these guys like, hey, won't you write a song like this and do
Mm-hmm.
this? Yeah, big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, all right, y'all. You can reach us. You reach the judgments. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on. Wait a minute. It's the end of the show. I got to ask. Jay, tell everybody your social media.
I'm laughing. I'm putting the mic away from you, see, so you don't hear me laughing and stuff. Yeah, I ain't sharing my social media. Hey, everybody who listens to this show, they know. They know the deal. Don't know the deal, then no, I don't post my social media. If you want to hear me or hear my thoughts, you got me on this show. You can go back and check the archives and listen to my thoughts on certain things. That's as much as I'll give you.
All right, you can reach the Judgmentals on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube at PNL Judgmentals, Instagram at the_judgmentals, or you can email us at pnljudgmentals@gmail.com. So, all right, Jay, and we got to do another episode before. We'll do another story episode before they shut everything down, quote unquote, shut everything down. I don't think that's going to happen, but
Yeah, we'll see.
well, all right, y'all.
All right.